Hello everyone and welcome to Season 5, Episode 34 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in NXT history with match number 17 on our list, which is for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship between the champion Lio Rush and the challenger Angel Garza from the December 11th, 2019 edition of NXT Television. I already kind of tipped off a little bit that this match would be, appearing in this countdown because they had a match prior to this one that appeared previously in our list a couple of videos ago when I mentioned that they would go on to have even a better match. So, that was kind of your spoiler. So I'm sure you were expecting this one at this point. But this match is so underrated. It's a perfect little hidden gem, much like their first match was. It goes above and beyond what they accomplished in the first match because it really feels like this true grudge match. I alluded to it before, but, although these guys only had a program, going over the span of a couple of weeks, they did a really good job at making it seem personal and almost making it seem like this blood feud amongst the cruiserweights. And as great as this match is, and, we'll obviously talk about that throughout the course of the video, I can't help but think how this match could have been elevated, with blood. We talk a lot about blood in wrestling, on the show here. And this is one. Angel Garza is an incredible bleeder. If you've never seen, there's a clip you can find on the internet of a match that he had in Mexico where he hits like a Eddie Guerrero at Judgment Day 2004, level gusher. It's just completely disgusting. And, not to say he'd have to do that ever again, but, he's a great bleeder. And I think, blood really would have helped elevate this match into something, even more special than it was. And, I talked about my frustrations with, how WWE had this amazing opportunity with the Cruiserweight division when, NXT moved to the USA Network, when they were competing, with the early episodes of Dynamite, that the Cruiserweights were what I felt could kind of keep me hanging in there with NXT a little bit, despite the fact that, Dynamite seemed like this fresher, more exciting program. But, it ended up ultimately being dropped. Obviously, the pandemic, had a lot to do with that. And now we no longer have a Cruiserweight title. So, it is what it is. But I won't dwell on that too much more because the fact of the matter is that this match is excellent. They take, all of the great athleticism and big time moves and creative spots that, these guys are capable of and they're known for. But they add this scrappy element to this match where they're constantly like clawing and punching and showing that grudge throughout it. And then they also add in all of these little story wrinkles of them knowing each other at this point. They had their match. Now they have each other's big moves scouted. We get some move stealing in this match. They really go all out with it and have, despite the fact that this was the opener of the show, this really feels like, a takeover main event style match, but in a much more compact, package. It goes a little over 10 minutes and not, 35 like a takeover main event tends to. The opening of this match is so good because they're doing the traditional, NXT title match intros where they dim the lights and, they have the competitors squaring off from each other. And Angel Garza beaks off to Lio Rush and we can't hear what he says, but we can see him mouth off probably something about Leo's wife and Lio Rush just, immediately takes it to him and attacks him right at the bell. And jumps him during the intros. And Angel Garza's so great because he kind of retreats it in the corner, but he's laughing. Like he knows that he was able to get into Leo's head and that was his, whole game plan. So when the bell, officially rings, we get this big brawl at the start. And something that I loved that's so small, but Angel Garza during this big, fisticuffs brawl at the start, he goes for a schoolboy roll up. And the reason I love that so much is this guy is just trying to get in Lio Rush's head. He would ultimately, propose to his girlfriend after, he wins this match and wins the Cruiserweight title. He wanted nothing to do with Lio Rush's wife. It was all, a head game that he had used to try to win himself the title. And ultimately it would prove successful. And I love that immediately being shown at the start of this match that if he could get Lio flustered enough and thrown off his game, he could grab that roll up and potentially win this match really, really quickly. But they do this, big brawl. They spill out through the ropes to the floor. Lio Rush, he's so small, right? He's a very, small, compact, tiny wrestler. And he takes these wild big bumps. So he gets tripped on the ring apron, and he hits face first off the ring apron. And how many times have we seen a spot like that done? But I don't know if it's ever looked better. It's just completely brutal. He bumps huge, to the floor after smacking his face on the apron. It was really, really good. Back in the ring, Angel Garza, he does that spot where he pulls off, kind of the tearaway pants, and he's got, his tiny shorts, his ring gear underneath. And in the first match, he had done that in the crowd beside Lio Rush's wife, tossed the pants to her, and that, caused Lio to snap a little bit. So here, when he goes for that spot, Lio tackles him and doesn't allow it to happen. And that would play, a huge aspect later on in the match, which we'll get to. It's a Lio Rush match, and in the early goings of his matches, he always does these great quick evasion spots where he kind of darts all around the ring and runs off, the perpendicular ropes to where his his opponent's going, and he crawls between their legs and all of this fun stuff. And so he starts doing all of that, and it's great. And then he goes for the come up, which is that, kind of like springboard stunner, like that Oz cutter sort of thing off the bottom rope that he would do. And he goes for a flash version of that really early out of nowhere. And it's something that I love so much. Angel Garza runs off the perpendicular rope and catches him with a drop kick as he's coming back off the ropes. Again, showing that he's learned by, watching and being in the ring with Lio, and was able to use his own trick against him. It was really, really cool. Angel Garza is a great kind of smarmy heel here. It's a little weird with the crowd dynamic because the crowd does feel split in this match. Even though Angel Garza is this kind of scummy heel, he's still kind of cool, right? He's a handsome dude. He exudes all of this charisma. So it is a bit of a mixed reaction, but he tries to play up the heel a little bit. He ties Lio in the corner and slaps him a bunch. As the referee pulls him back and Leo's still tied up, he, nails a big super kick to Lio, who's unprotected. He does a lot of stuff like that. He gets a big hot shot where he kind of just tosses Lio up over his head, hot shots him off the top rope. That takes him to, takes us to the commercial break. And when we come back, it's just all action for the rest of the way out. Lio gets a satellite DDT, a head scissors over the ropes. He hits this wonderful turnaround moonsault where he's inside the ring, does like a twisting and springboards off the inside of the middle rope, moonsaulting over the top rope to the floor. It was awesome and gorgeous. They really work around the come up a lot here. Garza blocks it again, and then hits his own version where Leo's kind of running in for it, misses it, and then Garza follows up behind him, almost like that, Marufuji style kind of rope running where he follows the guy to the ropes. But he does that and hits his own come up, which was really cool for 2. He goes for the moonsault fallaway slam, which was, the biggest spot that they hit in their first match. But Lio pushes him off and he hits this backflip and rolls through, and then hits a run up the ropes, like that Kurt Angle style, run right up, and it hits a Spanish fly off of it, which was amazing. That only got a 2 count. So they really go hot and heavy with the big near falls in this one. Like I said, it's really got that takeover main event feel. These guys, they, again, have that hatred. We get a strike exchange, from their knees with slaps and punches and headbutts, which are something that they used in their first match. Lio Rush gets that amazing, big wheel kick, that back spinning heel kick that he would do. He hits that, and Garza rebounds with a super kick. And then they do this spot where they both go for strikes and kind of just flare flop. And, it maybe plays a little bit comical, but again, it fits the story of the match. The crowd went crazy for it. They're so hot at this point in the match. The Full Sail crowd, they've went through these waves where they really helped make, that late 2013, 2014, 2015 NXT environment so exciting. And then they kind of dipped off a little bit, but they really were super hot on the move to USA. I think they felt, that this was their time to personally show, how great NXT was and how big of a part they played. And, of course, again, the pandemic would kind of ruin that a little bit, and we would eventually move from Full Sail to the CWC, where, the environment in a way now with that, if you watch NXT 2.0, is starting to remind me a little bit of early Full Sail now, where you get that hot crowd that's, really behind everything and starting to get invested in, their guys. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But, the crowd adds so much to this match. We get more move trading. Lio goes for that spinning Tamakaze that he does. Angel counters out of it, but then Lio gets his own wing clipper for 2. A really great callback in this match where Garza ends up going for the hot shot again. That was a big transition move that he got leading into the commercial break. But as he hot shots Leo over, Leo kicks off the bottom rope into the come up, which was amazing for 2. Goes up top, hits the final hour, that huge hang time, low down style frog splash that Leo does. And then in the best spot of the match, an amazing callback, this great piece that ties this whole story together. He hits this big frog splash, and as he goes to pull Garza in for the pin, he grabs him by the pants, and what happens? The tearaway pants come off, and it allows Garza to fall out to the floor so Leo can't capitalize after hitting his finisher. The pants, and they're such a big part of this story. They're so goofy and fun, and to see them, tied into the conclusion of this match was just so amazing and wonderful. I loved it. Leo goes for just this psychotic spot, again, showing that hatred he has. As Garza rolls out to the floor, he goes up top and he goes for the final hour to the floor, which is nuts. Garza gets the knees up, is very quick to capitalize. He rolls Leo into the ring, hits the wing clipper. It's only good for 2. At this point, the crowd is the loudest I had heard them at Full Sail in quite some time. They are losing their minds. And after the 2 count, Garza ends up grabbing like a seated butterfly lock for a submission, and it's enough to cause Leo to tap, and we get a brand new NXT Cruiserweight champion. Unfortunately, we wouldn't get a big Angel Garza title run. He would drop the title very quickly to Jordan Devlin and would eventually, kind of get called up to the Raw roster and ended up on WrestleMania in 2020 with a tag team title shot, despite, just showing up. And that was a weird Mania that year. So there was a lot of stuff like that. And now he's part of Los Lotharios with Humberto Carrillo on the SmackDown roster, and really doesn't seem to be doing too much, but he's a dude that, they really could focus on because he's phenomenal. A great heel, could make an excellent babyface too with the crowd's reaction to him in this match, and he's so gifted and he's so talented, and it's really a shame that the WWE doesn't recognize that, but that's kind of par for the course with them and a lot of performers that come up through that NXT rank, the NXT rankings before making it onto the main roster. The one slight criticism I'll give this match is the finish itself. I wish there was a beat taken there, because the crowd comes completely unglued at the 2 count for the wing clipper. If they just lied there for a moment and then maybe kind of both sat up and then Angel grabbed the butterfly lock, it would give, the crowd this moment, to get their pop off and, to get their excitement for that 2 count that this match is going to continue, and then recognize that, okay, now we're into a new spot that could be a legitimate finish. But, when he grabs it, the crowd's still kind of going ballistic from the 2 count, that, when the actual submission happens, it seems like the crowd kind of misses it until the referee, calls for the bell. That's the one minor criticism I'll give this match, but really it's just a small thing. This match is so excellent. The series that these guys had, Leo Rush's whole run, on that, early USA NXT stuff is so forgotten about. He had a great match with Oney Lorcan, a great match with Drew Gulak where he won the title, a great defense against Akira Tozawa, these 2 excellent matches with Angel Garza. And again, people, they talk a lot about Leo on the internet, how he's constantly going back and forth about retirement and what have you. I don't care about, the man's personal life. He can do what he needs to do. I'll support him accordingly, but professional wrestler-wise, he is one of the most dynamic wrestlers I've ever seen. He's incredible. He is so exciting, and he brings so much life into whatever he's involved in, which is so important in wrestling. I'm super happy we got these matches. I'm super happy I got to rewatch them for this series, and they are as high as they are on the list for a reason. They are fantastic televised wrestling openers for a title belt that, unfortunately, I think in the grand scheme of things is going to be forgotten about. And, I hope that if you haven't seen these matches, you check them out and you cherish them for as good as they are. You can find these matches, of course, on Peacock. If you're outside the US, they're on the WWE Network. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you never miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50. And please join me again next time as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.